Good morning, YouTube. Back in the shop. I had to think what day it was. Saturday. We're not going to be doing any flying today, so I figured get in here and get working on the plane. As you guys know, got plenty to do. It is rainy and thunderstorms out in here in Florida. Pretty significant storms coming through. It's going up and hitting you guys on the East Coast with the blizzard. You wonder where all that moisture come from. Well, I'm sorry. It comes from us. So I guess you guys can get worse things from us here in Florida. But enough of that, I digress. So today in the shop, we are here, or I am here, me, myself, and I. I guess that would be we, right? Us? Yeah. Well, here in the shop, we're gonna, as you guys remember from yesterday's video, we got some of the bulkheads, the stiffeners in, and some of the nut plates on and everything. So today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna continue with that. We've got to finish up riveting the bulkheads, all the bulkheads and everything, and then we will probably, I don't know, we'll probably get to starting to reskin the plane. The reason why I'm hesitant about that is I want to go get some adjustable stands, sawhorses, but it's raining out. I really don't want to get out and get in this rain. And it's not just raining, it's raining. It's a great day to be in a metal building, I guess. Thunderstorms too. But so yeah, so I don't know where we're gonna get with that as far as getting the skins on. We're gonna, you know, the instructions are we're gonna do the bottom skin and then the side skin, one side of the side skins, and then that way we have complete access to all the rivets, because then when we put the other skins on, it's gonna make it a little bit more difficult getting to those rivets. So and they have to be bucked. I mean, they're gonna be, you know, with the pneumatics. So I got that going on. The other thing is I was thinking, I was doing some reading. I don't know if you guys watched my other video, but I was searing off the pin that holds the pneumatic. So that tells me I got way too much pressure going through it, but my gauges are reading 90 pounds of pressure. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my good gauge here that I use for my paint gun. I trust this gauge. I really do. I don't trust, and I'm gonna test it to see, but this is the Harbor Freight one. I don't know if I trust this one. So I'm gonna read it off the one that I know is a good gauge, and then I'm gonna compare it to this one to see how it does. But I got a sinking suspicion that the gauges on my bench, on my bench, and these guys here, right down there, that guy right there, you guys get the drift. I suspect that gauge is not working correctly. So I'm gonna calibrate some things here before I continue. These pneumatics should go no more than 90 pounds of pressure. The squeezers, if they're above that, they're leather seals, and you'll blow those seals. It's just too much pressure. So I'm going to do that today and get that thing dialed in correctly, and then we'll go from there. So without further ado, you guys know the routine. This plane's not going to build itself, so I got to get to work. All right. So as I suspected, well, actually, I didn't suspect. I got to get this right. So the gauge on the compressor is actually lining up right with the gauge, with my gauge here, 90 and 90. So so I don't know what is going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this in to the into the regulator here and see what we get there. But yeah, so these are lining up. They're calibrated. I trust this gauge here a lot more than I trust any other gauge. This is a nice one. This thing is very, very precise. So let me put it onto the bench and I'll calibrate those as well. So as I suspected, this gauge we're reading 90 here, and I trust this one. So this gauge here is about 2 to 3. It's not bad. I mean, I was actually shocked. So I'm now trying to figure out what the heck. This gauge here is reading about 2 to 3 pounds of pressure high. Different line, different, it comes out of a different side of the compressor. So let me disconnect this. If I can, I have to put the, guy, need to get some guns. So let me turn the camera off. Let me disconnect it and hook the gauge up to it and see what we're reading there. Yeah, so we're dead on this one as well. So yeah, so these gauges are they're reading about 5 pounds of pressure high, which I don't get it. I don't understand. Then why was I over pressuring? Because the settings were set to 90 pounds. Don't know. Maybe atmosphere. All us pilots out there. I doubt it because it's a closed system. So so that's really bizarre that that I was shearing those pins like that. I'll have to just kind of, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this gauge hooked up to one of these lines. I got an air leak too. I got to fix that. I'm going to keep this gauge. I got 2 lines that feed into this room. So I'm going to keep this gauge hooked up and see if the pressure increases or decreases when the system, it might overpressure. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm going to just keep this hooked up and I'll monitor it and I'll let you go. But it's very important that you get your pressures right. You do not want to go over 90 pounds of pressure on these tools unless they're rated for that. But most tools are 90 pounds max. So, so yeah, so we're going to continue on. Like I said, I've got to get the rest of the bulkheads right there riveted together, and then we will we'll just soldier on, do what we got to do. All right, so I got this riveted together and everything looks great. Now I will have to tell you, I don't know how you could use the pneumatic squeezer unless you had the longeron or this type of yoke in the system that allows you to get around the angles. This straight yoke won't get around these angles, especially this bar here. So you might be able to do it. I couldn't figure it out, so I just switched to the yoke. So I would tell you, and I've said this time and time again, if you don't have this in your toolbox for your squeezers, you need to get one. It's gonna make your life a lot easier. And everything, it's a 4-10. I got it from Cleveland, I believe, Cleveland Supply. They have them. You definitely need, I have pretty much every yoke you can get, and I can tell you this one is just as valuable to me as this guy. The other thing you're gonna need is on your sets, you're gonna need a thin set and also the thicker set to get your gapping or your squeezing just right. I know a lot of people when they use these squeezers, and let me see if I can manipulate this one-handed. So what they will do is that when you squeeze this and it's not squeezing enough, your first inclination is to go in and tighten this down or to reduce that gap so it squeezes more. But the problem is that the squeezers have a power stroke. And once you go past that power stroke, you're not gonna get any more, it's not gonna have enough power to squeeze the rivet. So you're gonna have to somewhat adjust it by using either a longer one, gives you a little bit, it, squeezes a little bit more into the stroke or less of the stroke. So you're gonna need another one of these, I found. Other than that, this is pretty straightforward. Got everything in there. Once again, I gotta caution you, you are going from different material thicknesses. So you're going to have to adjust your squeezer accordingly. Just because it squeezes this guy doesn't mean it's gonna squeeze this guy, right? It's different material. So what I typically do when I first start squeezing or using a pneumatic squeezer, I will set it to a point to where I know it's not gonna over squeeze. I know it's not, and then I work into it. Now, the more you squeeze a rivet, the harder it will become. So I typically no more than 3 times, right? I squeeze it, test it, squeeze it, test it, squeeze it. If I still don't have the pneumatic squeezer set correctly, I go on to the next rivet and I get that one set, and then I'll just go back to the last one. But the more you squeeze the rivet, the harder it's gonna get and everything. So I would do no more than 3 times, and then the 4th time will be the charm. On that. And if you guys, like I said, I will squeeze one this is when I'm first getting my dimensions and I'm checking it with my gauge. I squeeze it, I turn it, I'll squeeze it again. And if it's still too small, or if the rivet head is too small, it goes through this gauge, then I'll turn it again and I'll squeeze it. At that point, if it's still too small, I'll just go on to the next rivet and continue my adjustment of my gun. And then once I have my gun adjusted, then I'll go back to that rivet and do a final squeeze on it the 4 times. Any more than that, you're gonna harden the rivet, and it's just making it harder and harder. So so those are just some things about that. So we got this done. Now we've got to do the bulkheads, and yeah, we might get to the skins. I don't know if you guys can hear it out there, but it's raining pretty good. But I might be able to get over to Harbor Freight. They have some adjustable stands, so I might get over there and get going, or get those stands in here. I got these from Harbor Freight, the cheap ones. They're about good. The only thing they're good for is sitting there in the corner. No, I take it back. I did have the rails on them, but that's about it. I mean, they're pretty much useless for anything of substantial. If you're just going to set something on them, that's fine. But no weight. They're not adjustable, so I'm gonna go and get the adjustable ones there at Harbor Freight, so that way I can adjust the height of the tail as I put it together. So all right, so another piece down. I've got 3 more bulkheads to assemble, and then once those bulkheads are done, then we will clean up, and we will think about starting to put the tail cone together. So be back in a bit. All right, YouTube. So here we go. We're starting to put things together. Yeah, I got the frame together. We're starting to put pieces. I really need to go get those sawhorses, because we have to hang all these bulkheads, and now they got a lot of mass on them. If we put them in here, they'll torque out, you know, if we try to do them this way. So it's better to hang it and let gravity do its thing. And until we can get the rails locked in and everything to hold the frame together. So I really need to have those sawhorses. I fought with this when I put it together. Oh, I did get the stiffener plate in. I really did fight with these when I was originally putting it together, and I'm not going to go through that again. So I'm going to call it a day, and we got a good 4 hours into the shop today, so I'm going to call it a day, spend some time with Miss Sandy. We still got some remodeling to do. Got to go get some tile and stuff, so I'm going to get out of here and go get that done and everything, and then come back tomorrow. Got to go to Lowe's anyways, or box store, wherever, and get those sawhorses, so I can get the tile and my sawhorses. So yeah, we got a lot done in the shop, but like I said, there's no reason to force it. You know, it's the journey, not the destination that matters. Now, of course, the destination will be awesome, but it's the journey. So we want to do this right. One thing I will do to hang those, I just pulled out the drawer, hang them. You want to hang those. These are kind of, well, they're flimsy. It is what it is. It's thin gauge aluminum. So you want to kind of hang them after you get them assembled. Laying them on a bench, they might get creased, or something might be put on them or something like that will bend them. So I'm just gonna, I just hung them. You guys see how I did that. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I had for you guys today. Another great day in the shop. Gosh, I got to tell you, I love building. I really do. I love flying, but I love building. It's building these airplanes are awesome. I think I can get into this. I could retire. This could be my retirement gig, right? Builder assist and everything. So yeah, enough of that. I'm just rambling. I just want to say, God bless you. God bless your family. Please pray for peace, and pray for those poor people in Ukraine. I wish we could do more. Well, I'll leave the politics out of it, but we just, you're either on the right side or you're on the wrong side. So pick a side and everything. But may God bless those people, those poor people, especially those children and everybody over there, not just children, everybody. So, but as you guys are sitting at home, be grateful for what you have instead of what you don't have or what you want. So, well, enough of that. I just want to say, leave a comment in the comment section about the plane. I'll be glad to get back to you. Tell your friends, your family, other EAA builders about us or about me, and help get the word out, because I have learned a lot from other builders, them sharing their knowledge with us and everything. And so I got a really cool trick that I'm going to share with you that Plane Lady showed us, but it'll be coming when we get to that point. And but I can already tell you that stiffener, we got that stiffener in, and that's going to save me a tremendous amount of aggravation if I decide to put an antenna back there. So yeah, that's about it. Be well, be safe, and like always, God bless.